Yes. A very good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar Things That You Can Do Now to Guarantee a Job After Graduation, brought to you by Sri Jaya Chama Rajendra College of Engineering in association with WAV. We have with us the speaker of the day, Mr. Anandan Achyut, founder and CEO at Wonderslate Technologies, who is an alumnus of SGCE from the class of 1996. So let me introduce him to you guys first. So Anand is a senior technical architect turned entrepreneur. He has over 23 years of experience in building enterprise applications, e-procurement systems, distributed computing, software security, information risk management, data analytics, and architecting bespoke client applications. He is experienced in managing technical teams spread across different geographic locations. He founded My3 Technologies in 2004 to provide consulting and developing enterprise applications. He has developed and provided bespoke applications for client companies. He has worked as a principal solution architect for Polyster Applied Solutions since 2004. He was the global head of IT for HTT Print Inc. till 2003 and has managed the teams spread in the US, UK, and Germany. He has also worked in Novel Inc. in the network management applications domain. He founded Wonderslate Technologies in 2015. So, before I hand over the mic to the speaker, so I would like to inform all the attendees that an e-certificate shall be issued to all those who have stayed for 80% of the webinar, and also attendees can use the Q&A section to ask any questions. They'll be answered at the end of the session. And if the speaker wants the webinar to be interactive, we'll inform. Then you can raise your hands and you can just directly speak with the speaker. Yes, over to you, Anand, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I wish I could see you all. It feels so nice to be here. Though you can see me a bit old, a baldy guy, but what I'm really feeling right now is that I'm in JC. So just that word, JC brings back so many memories, and I feel there. Okay, so it's a bit difficult that I don't see you, but I know I'm imagining you people to be at your homes now, staying safe. Let's start. So the very first thing, how many of you, really want a job after your graduation or perhaps your, post graduation? If you can just, comment a yes or dot dot, however you want, in the chat or the Q&A. I'm not sure how it works. That would be great, so that I know that you guys can hear me and there is somebody on the other side. Okay, thank you. So, I'm not disputing the fact that education is there for multiple reasons. But at the end of the day, what is that we really want? We want a job after our education. It can be the BE that you guys are doing now, or it can be, post graduation you would be. But end of the day, you need some kind of job, right? So, what kind of qualification do I have to talk about this? 96, when I passed out of JC, I had 5 offers in my hand. So I'm a computer science, I'm from computer science branch. All the 5 offers were from, different multinational, pretty big companies at that point of time. So I decided to join Novel. Novel, I'm sure now you wouldn't know, but it was like, today if I step out and join Google, it was the same thing there. By 2003-4, I was already global head of IT, then started companies. So I know bit of things, tricks, that we can do it. I will not take lot of time, talking about the thing. I will give you a very brief introduction of what these concepts are. And then, the best way is ask me any question you want regarding this, how to get a job, the doubts you might have, the questions you have. Then, from whatever experience I have, I will explain it to you. Okay. So let's, I'll spend little time discussing about these things. The approach I'll talk to you about is, it's very simple. It's called 3D. You all know what 3D is, right? It's a three-dimensional thing. So how can I use a 3D to get a job? That too guaranteed. There is no question of not getting a job. Now, the first 3D, the first D. To explain that, I'll ask you a question. I guess even now, JCNA should be there, right? You can, comment it yes or no. JCNA should be there. JCNA is still there. Thank you, Rishita. Now, in JCNA, I'm sure you will be having few stalls, small shops. I guess it will be there. Not, of course, not this year. I'm talking about, the last year, year before that. I'm sure you would have those things, correct? Now, let's say you have some money. Let's say there are four stalls next to each other. All of them are saying that they will be selling the t-shirt. Let's say JCNA t-shirt. You go to shop one, there are 3 or 4 t-shirts hanging there. Okay, you may like the color, you may not like the color, you like the texture, or let's assume there are three or 4 t-shirts. Now you go to next 3 shops. The next shop is saying they're not displaying any t-shirt, but they're saying that that guy is from NIFT Bangalore, and he has got so much of good marks in the exam, and he can do wonderful t-shirts. You go to the next one, he's saying that they can do all those things because he was topper from a famous college. You go to the fourth one, again it's a similar thing. They are saying, talking about what all they can do, but you don't find the t-shirt. Now tell me, where will you buy the t-shirt? You can comment it. Will you buy it from shop one, or will you, just depending upon what they are saying, you will wait for the others to deliver the t-shirt for you? Shop one, as the t-shirts are displayed. Right. Now, why is that? See, when you see the product, what is that you want to buy? You want to buy a t-shirt. When you see the t-shirt, it's easy to make the decision. The other 3 shops are saying they are going to do it. They have a capability of doing it. Or they're saying, I have got, such and such rank marks, so I'm going to do it. But as a buyer, for you, it's so simple. It's so easy to decide, right? So now think from a company point of view. Think from the HR point of view. Stop thinking that just because we are from a good college, I'll get a job, or I've completed my course, I'll get a job, or I've got, more than 80%, I'll get a job. So those are the things we should sort of, not consider for the time being. What matters is, what can I do? What can I do that company wants? So the first D is do. What should you do? Doesn't matter what branch you are in. Go and do something. And what is that something? I will take the example of computer science because that is where I am from. It applies for all the things. Now, it's not just enough in your resume if you write, I am interested in programming. That is not at all enough. If it was like, when we were doing our engineering, that time it was very difficult. There was no internet, there was no broadband, there was no, high-speed networks. Now everything is free. If you decide, even without being in an engineering college, you can learn coding, you can write an app, you can release an app, right? So the very first thing you have to do, you have to go do something in this field. From computer science, go develop an app and get it released. It's so easy. Do not work as if you're working in a project, where you can outsource it to somebody or purchase the code. No. Even if it's a to-do list, make an app of it, release it. Make a web app of it, release it. Make a website of it, release it. It is as simple as that. You have to do something. Now, I'm sure, you are from different branches. The questions you would ask is, sir, I'm a mechanical engineer. What can I do there? Go find a place where they'll allow you to do something, or get, a few people together, try to do something. Worst case, if you cannot do it physically, read about it, create a website and write about that thing. It is as simple as that. But you have to show the output. Now go back to the example I used. If you want to buy a t-shirt, if you see a t-shirt, you'll buy it. So when a company wants to hire somebody, if they see that, hey, this guy can do it, because how will I know? He has already done it. So even if you got 55%, 60%, you have one guy on 80% but doesn't have any experience, but you are a 55%, you have got two apps already released in the Play Store. Nowadays, it doesn't take any money or anything. It's so simple. So who do you think the company will go and recruit? So that is step number one. So it's very important to do the anything in your field. Even if you're a mechanical engineer and ultimately you're thinking you want to get into the software field, then go do something in software. Never just say, I am interested in programming and leave the resume there. That doesn't count. And especially in today's age, and say, okay, I've done C programming, I've done Java, where did you learn? Oh, it was part of my course. That is not enough. You have to go and do something more than that. That is D, the first D. What is the second D? Second D is the display. What do I mean? When you saw the t-shirt, then you bought it, right? Now in the digital age, you need to have a digital presence. What does it mean? Very simple. Go and have a LinkedIn profile. Make a website about you. Websites are free. It's easy to do. Lot of professional templates are available for free. Go and display what you are, what you can do, right? What all can it have? Like I said, go find an internship. Do the internship. Don't just go there and spend 3 months, come back. No, learn something, get something out of that and write about it. Write about that in the website that you have done. Write about that in the LinkedIn, right? Then at least have one or two projects which you have done by yourself. That is very, very important, that you have to showcase your ability. You're not talking about theory anymore. You are directly telling the employer, saying that, boss, look, I have this capability and I can do it. It's really as simple as that. It is not a rocket science. But doesn't, if you have so much of knowledge, so much of theory in your mind, but if you don't apply, it'll be very difficult for the employer to gauge the thing what you can really do. Display part is very important. Whether we are introvert, extrovert, I know English, I don't know English, I can communicate well, I don't like to communicate, I'm scared when the interview comes, all those things doesn't matter. You go ahead and have a digital presence first. For example, I see a name Varsha G. Kori here. If somebody searches for Varsha G. Kori, they should find a LinkedIn presence. They have to find at least one website what you're doing. It's not just a website. I'm sure you would have heard about GitHub, where you do a project and store it there. You have something called Stack Overflow, where all the technical questions are asked and answered. Once you start doing your own project, you will find that whenever you get a doubt, you go to Google, type in your question, it will take you to Stack Overflow. So ask questions there, if possible answer there. The more digital presence you build, it will become that easy, really that easy to get a job. The first person I hired for Wonderslate, he's a fresher from a college in Sonipat. How did I get to know about it? I was searching something, then I came across this profile. I saw that he was so and so. Then I contacted him, got him on board. So the second D is display. The first is do it first. The second is the display part. That is, how do you present yourself digitally? That's very, very important. What is the third? It's, go deep. About what? Pick any subject you want, anything you like, and learn about that. So now you'll ask, isn't it, it's a bit counterintuitive. You might think, I have to learn first and then do it. I am here saying that do it and then you learn. Suppose when you are learning about car driving or anything, you actually go and do it, right? Then you go and you don't read theory first. But whenever you are doing it, you will see that the way you can learn improves. The depth what you get by doing something is really a basis for you to start learning deeper about it. Now, why all these things are important is, this is how, suppose, getting an interview is the first step, correct? How will you get the interview? By doing something and making sure you display it digitally. People will see that, they will call you for interview. Now in the interview, interviewer can ask you anything they want, right? Because you're a fresher. So even it will be difficult for him to ask you a very particular thing. But if you have done something, you can drive the interview. You can say, I've done so and so. So whatever question he asks, you can drive him back to what you have done. Second, because you have gone deeper into something. Let's say because in computer science you have gone deeper into data structures. What is better data structures? If you read theory, you will be thinking of, this subject I don't want to do it. Even if I get 35, I'll be happy. But if you program and then learn data structure, you realize, oh, when should I use an array, when should I use a list or a pointer, whatever it is, your understanding level will be completely different. So you can start driving the interviewer to your strong points. Once you have done these three things, I do not find any reason why you will not get a job. It is as simple as that. This is the simple, things that you can do. And this is how I hire people. Okay. Now, the concept, I will try to answer all the questions you might have. So let's start asking questions. As depending on your questions, I can go deeper into the things you might have. So the question I have got that, is it easy for a shy person who have stage fear can crack campus interview? Any tips for it? Yes, you can very easily crack it if you have done something. So what happens is, again, I'll give you the example of your t-shirt. Now this shop has last t-shirt left and two people are there. Now, what will be the thing they will be having in their mind? I will go get this t-shirt. They are not looking whether it is, it is damaged somewhere, or whether it is present in the right light or not. No. If you do it, whatever you have done, your confidence level will be different. Whenever you go to interview, how much you are worried, no, the other side person, think from that point of view. They are looking to get good people. Communication is just one of the aspect. Communication will improve if you know something. If you do not know, that is when the problem happens. How will you know something? By doing it. Because you've already done something, you've already presented it to the world in a digital way. That is why you have gone to that interview. Even they are looking to hire good people. So if you think stage fear and all, don't worry about it. Focus on the basics, on the fundamentals. Yeah. I'll go to the next one. For every course we do in online, we don't get certificate, whether certificate is necessary or not. Certificate, whatever the certificate, uh, you know, doesn't matter. Even if you're getting a certificate from MIT, Harvard, Stanford, your work carries more weight than that. Of course, what certificate says is that you have put effort in clearing something. So the effort part, yes, it's a small tick in in the list of ticks that the employer is looking at. But any day, at least for me, in my little experience of 20 plus years, I've always looked at the people who can deliver. How will I know you can deliver? Of course, you cleared a course, that is really good. But if you have done something on your own, what it shows is that you can apply the knowledge, what you got in the college, to execute something. So that is very important. Yeah, I hope I have answered that question. Now, sir, do you personally prefer hiring a fresher who has done internship, or internship doesn't matter? See, if you get internships, go and do it. If you don't get, don't fret about it. Do your stuff. what there is a saying in Hindi. I'm sure you all know Amitabh Bachchan. He keeps writing in the blog, "Man ka hua to acha, nahi hua to it's much better." My Hindi is also not that good. What it means is, see, internship is one of the ways you get it. Please go and do it. Don't just go and come out. Okay, like I said, when I got out of college in '96, I did my project. That time there was no concept of internship. Project. They were not allowing you to go outside Mysore. But I convinced my HOD that I'll go to Bangalore, did the project in Novel. Not only I just did, at that time it was that, get some project or pay some money and get it. What I did was to really do a project, learn something. They themselves offered. That time Novel was not even considering JC. I was the first guy from JC to get into Novel. But it was not because of the college or anything. It was because I did it. So if you get internship, do it. If you don't get it, create yourself. No, who will stop you from creating an app? Suppose if you are in mechanical engineering, who will stop you from creating some device? Nobody will, right? So that's more than enough. So the next one, how do I prepare for aptitude? Aptitude, you find lot of resources online. Keep going. Use the test. Even you can go to wonderslate.com. What you see on wonderslate.com is not who we are as total. One of the things I told you is to display, which I myself are not doing. We are pretty strong in a B2B section. Very soon we will be adding that to our website. But to answer that, if you want, there are a lot of online resources available. Online quizzes are available for free. You don't have to pay anything. Go keep practicing. If you look for any competitive exams, most of them will have a logical and analytical part to their exams. So there are a lot of free stuff available. Keep practicing. Does a mechanical engineer need to have a website about? Definitely, it's not just mechanical, it's polymer. I don't know what kind of branches are there. It's E&C, E&D, polymer science, IP. These were the things were there when I was. So please, everybody should have a website. It is free. The professional template, it's so easy to get. Please go and have a website and start writing in that. Like I said, if you do your work, keep updating there. Even if you don't, for example, you are in some kind of field where you cannot do a practical work, then go read something which is not there in your syllabus, some book, and write, these are the things I learned. Oh, this is like this, write a review, but keep it in your website. Make sure you are doing more than what is required for you to clear the exam. Okay. Now, Java or JavaScript, which should be more preferred? Again, this is a very generic question. It's an important question. I'll answer this one. Do not go with the trend, what people say. They say, is it Java or JavaScript, machine learning, artificial intelligence? People will keep saying a lot of things. Do not worry about that part. Especially for a software engineering kind of thing, your logical mind, how can you apply what you think? Can you think logically? These are the important things. Whatever you like, go and try. You're in college, try 15 days. You take take any free course, try it yourself. You like it, continue. You don't like it, go to the next one. Keep trying and, find something what you like. Even when you are trying, you are actually doing a project, you are doing something, put it on GitHub and say, this is the project. Even if somebody downloads it or not, doesn't matter. You put it on GitHub and write that thing in your resume, write that in your LinkedIn, write that in your website. So Java, JavaScript, doesn't matter. Pick one, do it. If we are thinking from an employment perspective, both have the same kind of opportunities. I have 4 years in manufacturing, but now I'm afraid, how could I get further? Okay. Praveen, you are saying that you have 4 years of experience in manufacturing. How do I get further? I can understand the uncertainty that you might be facing. Like I said, age is just a number. Start. Whatever you feel confident about. If you are into, you feel manufacturing is the place where you want to be, Go and start. Never hesitate to start at any level. Like I said, with 5 to 6 years of experience, I could become a global head of IT, not because I had done MS or I had, you know, master's degree or nothing. It was purely, I was ready to start from the bottom, climb my way up. Perseverance is the thing. That is not a good example, but I'll take the example of Wonderslate. We are 5-year-old company now. Till about 6 months back, we were not sure whether we'll survive or not. And also, there is a thing that a startup is a young people's game. You have to be in your 20s or you're from your IITs. These are all the things what others say. You should not say that to yourself. So within 6 months, it was an overnight success. Really, before that overnight success, there was this 4.5 years of perseverance, making sure, we have a dream, we have a goal, we follow. So, good luck to you. And, don't think whether you'll get a job, not job, go to management, start somewhere. You will find what's next, right? The idea is to keep moving. Should we try for government jobs? If yes, then how to go for it? Like I said, you have to decide. You have to decide why you want to why do you want to have a government job. It's not good or bad. It is, you have to decide. Then the next question comes, if you say government job, what exactly are you looking at? Are you looking at cracking the UPSC exams? Are you looking at state government kind of exam? Or you are looking at uh, thing in the engineering, only in the engineering stream but government? You have to make that decision. Once you do that, then there are steps. For example, suppose you choose UPSC, then you will learn everything available information about UPSC. What is the entry criteria? What is the age limit? So what are the different kind of exams? What are the opportunities? Once you find it, then you will come up with a plan of how to prepare for it. There are a lot of online resources, but the most important is, doesn't matter if you are, you have so many opportunities. If you are not clear, then it will be difficult. So have the clarity first, then it's easy. How much does a domain of a project matter? I mean, ML versus web versus Android. I answered this. Don't worry about this. Do not worry about this at all. Even today, I don't know whether you heard about the language COBOL, which we were learning at that time. Then only people were saying COBOL is dead. Even today, if you're a good COBOL programmer, you get awesome, opportunities. So do not worry about the domain. You try and see what you like. If you like artificial intelligence, go and do it. If you like Android, if you like web, go and do it. For every single thing, there is an opportunity. Does Python, JavaScript hold significance for engineers who are not in the software? See, now let's take a small this one and see what's the difference between people who are who have studied computer science and becoming a software engineer, and people who have not done computer science and coming here. Of course, there is a difference, but let's forget the branch. When you learn for 4 years, whether you are aware of it or not, many times you think, "Arey, our education is not good. It's whoever can memorize it a lot, they can get." Forget about all those things. Without our knowledge, 4 years of that education will teach us how to learn. Would have taught us how to think logically from an engineer's point of view. That is what programming is. So you're already prepared for it. But what computer science does is it gives an additional thing of a theoretical aspects, like the data structures, how to program, what are the important things. So one, it's not a disadvantage. But now I'll come to this one. If whether you are from a computer science or not, if you want to be a programmer, software engineer or programmer, you have to learn programming. You have to know how to think logically. So pick a Python or JavaScript. They are just languages. What is important is, can you use it? Today, if let's say, I've been working in Java from almost 23-24 years. Since the day Java started, I've been working on that. But it doesn't mean that I cannot work on others. It doesn't mean I've not worked on others. Today, even a new language comes, it's a matter of learning the syntax, but your programming is still the same. So, pick anything and learn. Which language should we choose for competitive programming? Which is better? I've already answered that. Don't worry about it. How to select a company that helps in our career growth? Okay. Very firstly, when I'm getting out of college, I need to have a career first, right? Now, think from an employer point of view. What does employer look from you? They want a good candidate come to their company and help them deliver in whatever they are working on, correct? So if you prove good to them, they will be good to you. And there are exceptions, and don't worry about those exceptions. But in general, you are good to the company, company will be good to you. Of course, there are certain other skills like your social skills, your presentation skills. And like when you are student, the second part, what I said, the display. What display is, how do you present what you have done? Even once you are in industry also, the skill is required. How do you present the work you are already doing? That is how the career growth happens. So if I do good, company will take care of you. Any shortcut might work in a short term, but not um, forever. So there is no shortcut for success. You just do your good, give your best. I'm sure things will work out fine for you. What is your suggestion about doing MS in abroad? I've not done MS, but my classmate, who is also an investor in Wonderslate, did MS, and he had told me some amazing things about MS. What he told me is that the way we learn is completely different. He has done so I know about the US. I'm not sure about the other places. It's completely different. So what do I mean by it? So in computer science, we had a subject called operating system for almost 2 semesters. Even learning that for 2 semesters, I don't claim that we had really understood it, but when he was doing a MS, they have to literally write the operating system. It's a practical knowledge. What you get, your perspective of learning will change drastically. So that is one aspect. Now, career wise, how will it impact? Yes, of course, you can start with a higher salary. Once you start with a higher salary, whatever increments you get, it keeps adding from that. The base itself is bigger. But that was 20 years back, 10 years back, 5 years back. But today's situation has changed. You know that the so-called Western countries which were really prosperous, they are also struggling. The first thing, take an example. If your house is in threat, the first thing you want to do is to make sure the people within your home is the ones you protect. That is what is happening abroad. So things are not as black and white as it was earlier. When I came out, the career path was very clear. Go work for 2 3 years, then you'll get a job in US. Go there, then settle there. I did all those things, but I came back. Now it's bit thing. One, the situation itself, COVID again has thrown a lot of new challenges. Second, because of the online education, the thing is not the same. You can sit here and do the same. Third, the opportunities here is no less than outside. So now you have to decide, why do you want to do MS abroad? Is it for the better career prospects? You have to think. Or is it about a better learning? You want to do something and have that experience of learning? It's a different question. So I hope I answered your thing. Should we try for an off-campus job? Because college and try. If you follow the steps that I'm saying, you don't have to try. People will come and call you. You will be surprised. We have, even in our company, we keep looking for smart students who have done something. We check the LinkedIn. From LinkedIn, we go to their website and see whether they have really done something. Then we call them, talk to them. That time we don't ask, what is a data structure? What is this? What is that? We ask them about what they've done. We want to see, have they really done it? If they've really done it, usually that's enough. There are no more interviews, no more this one. So go ahead and do it. Is it like no programming knowledge is equal to no job? No, 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 no. That's what I said. No, don't, never think like that. If you're not interested in programming, do something what you're interested in. Let's say research is your, is where you want to go. Do a small research. Don't depend on what is there in the class. What is the, you go do a small research, compile a report about it, put it in your website, write articles about it. There are so many blogs, Medium and other things. Just make sure you do something what you like. The criteria is very simple. You have paid money, you have cracked your CET or other things and gone to a college. Again, you have paid money, you have spent time, you have cleared your exams. That is just one of the criteria in filtering the people. But after that, whatever you do depends on who you are, what you have done outside these things. Everybody will do whatever you have done in the college, right? Everybody has to clear the exam. Everybody has to, submit assignment. Everybody has to, submit the project. But what extra you have done? So, no programming knowledge, no job, please. That is, you have to, instead of equal to, you have to, not equal to. So next one, considering the current situation, the difficulty to projects for biotechnology. Yes, like I said, there are now COVID thing is there. Some fields it's really difficult to do, but search for your seniors, where they are, connect to them on LinkedIn. If you know how to research or what to read, you do it, or always ask for help. Now, two things happen because of that. One, they are in a better position to know what is happening in the industry and what is relevant now. So they will give you that pointer. You can go ahead and, learn that. Or even if it's not, there might be opportunities which you are not aware, but they are aware. So, it's a win-win. Talk to them. It's not necessary you have to do the project. Wherever you cannot physically do anything, do the theoretical aspect, present it. Make sure whenever somebody looks for you, knows that this person has gone out of their way to do something. Does CGPA matters? Yes, to some extent, where suppose, there is a very big company and they have an opening. The moment they give the advertisement or something, there'll be thousands and thousands of people who will apply. Now, obviously, HR cannot, go through all the resumes, interview everybody. So you have to apply a certain kind of filter. So one of the filter they would use, check the CGPA and see how many, above this will, go to the next level. Below that, not. But again, the other thing is, suppose if I have a lower CGPA, yes, you might have to struggle a bit. But if you have capability, if you have done your work, for whatever reason your CGPA is not great, but it's okay. I will give you an example for both the things. First semester mathematics, I flunked. I don't know what happened. I got only 29. But after that, I made sure that, it will never happen. By 7th semester, I was once a university topper also. But it took 8 semesters to make sure I get distinction. But during this, I guess it was Tata Alexia or somebody who had come for campus interview. I cleared all the analytical round and all, but they saw that I had flunked in the first semester and they rejected me. And that was fine. I don't know whether it was my loss or their loss. But like I said, by the time I went out of the campus, I had 5 offers. So you can decide. How is the biotech market this time? Will we get ample opportunity in the field because of the present? Yes. See, anything to do with human intelligence, human care, counseling, biology, these are all, happening things. So definitely. How learning ML benefit mechanical engineering? It's a very loaded question. It takes a lot of time, but I'll keep it brief. What see, just because the name says machine, do not equate it with mechanical. Machine learning is a pure software term. but anything in software will have impact on all fields, be it medicine, be it mechanical, aeronautical, chemical, doesn't matter. So machine learning has impact on all the fields. Of course it will have, definitely has impact on mechanical engineering. How, if you gone read little bit and if you want to know more, it's simple as that. Any machinery will have a breakdowns, correct? So with the data you already have, you can predict when is a probable time it might break. So these are the things which your machine learning can predict. So yes, it will make a difference. Which is better, having more projects or having good knowledge in coding to crack the interview? When you say more projects, I'm assuming you are really doing it, not just adding it to your resume. Having more projects is more important. If what it means is, if you have done more projects, your coding is, obviously your knowledge is much more than just reading it theoretically. So I do not see any or there. I see equal there. More project, good coding knowledge. How learning ML benefit, that I've done. Which is better? That is also done. Which is better, getting job or going to the IISc after BTech? It depends on you. Like I said, I have not done masters, but my friends have done it. Uh, it completely depends on you. Why you want to do masters? If it's for education, I want to learn little more. Then when I start, I'll have a better prospects, or So there is no right or wrong answer for that. You are the one who will decide it. Guru Prasad is asking, which is better, developing app using React Native or using Flutter? See, both are hybrid. Pick one and do both have got equal chances. Is Flutter a good choice for app development? If you're looking for a hybrid, yes, it is a good choice. And that question can be answered in two ways. Depends, if you're talking about from a pure technical point of view, then it depends on the app requirement. Suppose you are developing an app where you need lot of native features, then you would go for a native one. But you're depending on an app where it doesn't require a lot of native features, but you need it to be done both on iOS and Android, you don't want to invest on both, then Flutter is good. So it's that way. But if you're thinking from if I learn Flutter, will I get a good job, or what is the opportunity? It is as good as any other language. How to be prepared for changing job scenario? Again, excellent question. None of the things that I told you changes now. But what might happen is job market might be a little bit tighter. It doesn't mean that it's all doomsday and everything. No. Whenever a correction like this happens, a lot of old things will go. Lot more opportunities for the people who can adapt, who are younger, will definitely be created. The advantage you have today is you do not have the burden of experience. You can easily get molded into the developing scenarios, developing requirements. So do your homework, do your stuff, and wait it out. Do not stop, and there no reason to be disappointed. You keep doing your stuff, things will change. Even in COVID, we had hired about almost 15 people. Among them, I guess 8 are freshers. So even there, we were not looking at their marks, or we were not looking at their branch. We were looking at what is their attitude. Can they, apply the knowledge, what they have learned? So these are the things. I guess I've answered all the questions.
Yes, I think there's a person, Maheshwari Das, who has raised her hand.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have got another question.
Is coding important to crack aptitude and technical role? See, what is coding? Coding is applying the knowledge which you are learning, right? So it will definitely, coding requires your logical thinking. Coding requires for you to understand data structure. But if you are just, when you say coding, if you are thinking about the examples which are there in the textbook or the assignments you got in the class, no, that is not coding. that you're learning syntax, you're learning about, ABCD, but you should be able to write, you should be able to frame sentences. That means you'll go do a real project. And the question can be, where will I find a real project? I don't know. Just Google it. You will find hundreds of projects that you can do. What is the future of coding if AI like GPT-3 are already able to do various stuff for a normal? Good question. Chandrakant, looks like you've done your homework. Now, who will code this? Who will code GPT-3? Who will maintain it when something goes wrong? So that will be the people who, so programmer is an evergreen thing that will not change. So I hope I answered your question.
Okay, let's allow Maheshwari to speak.
Sure.
Maheshwari, I'm allowing you to talk. You can talk. Yeah, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Maheshwari. Yeah, we are able to hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. My question or something that I'd like to ask is, Sir mentioned saying even if you're not interested in programming, you can do something that you're interested in and then find a job related to it. Yeah. But seeing the current scenario, finding the job that we really like is a little difficult. Right. So how do we overcome this problem?
See, there are two things. One, things which are in your control. Other one, things which are not in your control. For the things which are not in your control, doesn't matter whatever I say, it will not make any difference. But what are things which are in control? If you know what is that you are interested in, get in-depth knowledge of that. If you cannot do a practical work on that, then do a theoretical work on that. Gain knowledge. Suppose if you do not know what is the field you like, then go explore. This is the time. Think it as an opportunity that has come to you where, the providence has given you the opportunity to go and explore the things what you might like. In both the cases, keep focusing on the thing that you can do, which is there in your control. Things will work out. It might look a bit gloomy now, but things will change. Whatever you are seeing now is a very temporary phenomenon, and it cannot be, it cannot stay like this forever. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Shreya says, problems you face while starting your company, financial and technical. Shreyas, I did not, face a financial problem or technical problem to start with. To sustain, I'll come to that because it's very simple. I'm a technical person. I've always been a technical person, so it was easy for me to start a technical technology company because I was involved. Finance was not that big a deal. You would have certain savings. You don't have to pay somebody because I do the coding. I am an architect. Those kind of things. But once you start, how do you sustain? How do you get other people? So that's a journey by itself. You need to believe what you're doing. You need to have a common sense of understanding where the things are going, where to cut the cost or not spend. Also, the most important thing, what is that problem you are solving and why you are starting a company? If you're starting a company because of all the things we have read in the magazine, the glory that comes in the Facebook, the Google, the startup guys, then probably that's not the best idea because it will fizzle out. The moment you face with the first problem, it will fizzle out. But if you know what the problem you're solving and why you started a company, that will take you forward. But know this, the journey is full of challenges, but there is a thrill. What's the life without challenge? So that's the way it is.
Yes. Do we have any more questions from the attendees?
I guess that's all.
Okay. Sir, do you have any advice for the students which will help them excel in their lives after graduating?
That's the whatever the advice I had, I told them. It's you know see, sometimes it looks difficult, sometimes it looks the challenge is so big that there is no chance we'll do it. Like all the questions you had, even we had the same questions. Thing is, how much of my language is important, how much of my marks is important. We used to listen to this saying that this branch is saturated, that domain is saturated, you have to uh, you know do certain things in. So the challenges, the uncertainty will always be there. Don't get bothered by it. Like I said, do the things which are in your control, not in competition with anybody. You are in competition with yourself. The person you were 5 minutes back and now should be different. There has to be some kind of improvement, not necessarily coding or anything. Keep seeing how can you best yourself, how can improve yourself. Everything else will fall in place. So that's the thing. What if not done any project? Do it now. Do now. Start now. Better late than never. And it's not that a project will take 6 months. If you really put your mind, within next 1 week, you can get one app out in the Play Store. I'm not saying just because like that, because it is the fact. There are so much of technology, so much of help available online. Go use it and build a small network. Your alumni, your friends, your school friends, get connected, ask for help.
So we have a question from Uttam in the chat box. So he's
Okay.
asking, I'm from Tripoli and I'm focusing on both software and hardware, but having hard time to cope with it. Any suggestions?
See, your answer to your question is within the question. You have to choose. When you say, uh, again, you don't have to choose as it, I will do hardware then, but I will not do software. They are interrelated, and if you enjoy doing both, keep going. There is no end point. It's not like it's an 100-meter race. In software, another 100-meter here I have to travel 100. There is no end point like that. If you are enjoying doing both the things, do it. But if not, pick one. Also, never pick a project or this one looking at the job prospect. This is something it's there in the media. This is how we have grown. This is people tell you that some field is really lucrative. That is the the boom, next boom will happen there. Don't listen to them. If you do the things correctly, if you keep doing it consistently, that's more than enough. Like if Sachin Tendulkar will be coding, or I go and play the cricket, because cricket and now IPL is there, uh, how I will end up with, right? So pick what you like and continue doing it.
Okay. So any more questions, guys?
So one question has come: what do interviewer expect from us generally? Like I said upfront, see, each interviewer is a different person. It depends on what his expectation is. But there are tricks which you can use. Is that, suppose if you've done your homework in terms of you've done your project, your subject, you can, doesn't matter what he expects, show him stuff. You can always guide him back to the your expertise. Number one. Number two, if you know something, that is what they're especially from freshers. When it comes to freshers, what we expect is, can he or she deliver? Can they do the work? It's as simple as that. Nothing more than that. The theoretical knowledge helps. Suppose, I've come to the campus for interview and I'm not at all finding a person who fits all these things. Then I will look into the theoretical thing, or, the marks, what you've got. But in general, it's your attitude. Are you responsible? Can you take responsibility either for learning and doing it, or you've already done it? All these things matter.
Right.
Thank you.
We have a new question from Varsha in the Q&A section.
Okay. Is being slow learner a problem in software industry? Not at all. Not at all. As long as you learn and deliver, not a problem. And any of these labels, I'm not saying they are not true. What I'm saying is, if you want to give a label to yourself, give a good label, give a positive label. Instead of a slow learner, what can we say? I learn at a different pace. But you're learning, right? That's the important point. So there are a lot of people who do not learn. So if I have 10 people who are not ready to learn, but I have a person who learns at a different pace, so how does it matter? I want to, engage the person who is learning. Will app development hold any importance for mechanical engineers? See, there are two aspects to it. Suppose if you want to pursue your career in mechanical engineering, but want to show, suppose you cannot do anything in mechanical engineering, but you want to show that you are a resourceful person, so you have developed an app, definitely yes. Or if you want to go to the programming side, then again app development is important, but do it what you like. And doing anything extra is always an added advantage. Even for that matter, if you're a good singer, good dancer, you are a good athlete, every single thing helps. Don't just think it's by the marks or CGPA or any particular recommendation from a professor. No, every single thing will help.
Okay, we have Likitraj who's interested to talk. Likitraj, I'm allowing you to talk. Yeah. Yes, Likit, do you want to speak something? We can't hear you, I guess.
Yeah, the one question has come in Q&A. Sunil is asking,
Yes.
in interview, will they ask any hobbies? Not really. Not really. They might, even if they ask, it's only when they really don't want to be rude and they're not finding you interesting, and they've run out of all the questions. They are not able to gauge whether you can contribute or not, only then. Or if they're completely happy, they've already selected you, then they might. But having hobbies or not doesn't.
Okay, Sunil wants to be heard. Can you raise your hand, Sunil? Yes, now you can talk, Sunil.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sunil.
Yes, sir. I have just one question.
Sure.
In interview, sir, if they ask related to your strength and weakness, what to answer this exactly? If this question, strength and weakness.
Right. Strength is not at all a problem, right? Whatever strength you have, tell them honestly. There is no standard answer. For both the things, there is no standard answer. Okay. But weakness is a bit tricky thing. I'll come to there. But strength, you tell them the real strength you have. Suppose you have done certain projects, you take responsibility. It's always about your character, your whether you are a responsible person or you are a hard worker, can you face the challenge? All these things are strength, and tell them honestly and be ready to give an example. Suppose you say, my strength is that I take responsibility. The follow-up question will be, can you tell us why do you say so? Or, can you tell us an experience from your life where we will get to know that you are a responsible person. Now, weakness is a tricky thing. Weakness is something, they're not really looking at your weakness. Nobody will share their weakness. So what they are looking at is, how will you tackle this question? So some of the answers can be, uh, at this point of time, I'm not as confident on Java compared to JavaScript. So probably that is my weakness, but I am working on it to overcome. Here what you're saying is, you're saying you are slightly weak in Java, but it's not the weakness, right? That is something can be rectified by learning. And also saying, compared to JavaScript, where you're saying, okay, JavaScript is my strong point. So it's a bit of a thing. If you Google, you'll find lot of examples how to answer it. But what I'm saying is, nobody will expect you to tell your weakness. Nobody will do that. What they are looking at is, how can you manage to answer this question.
Sir,
Yeah.
so if, maybe if they ask you that, I want a person who ask that question, sir. What is your hobby like that actually? Maybe if they usually in my college, like many people have faced this question. It's a general question they ask many people actually.
Right.
My seniors also told same thing. In case, like example, you don't have any hobbies, outdoor going, like you don't have any particular hobbies. Maybe my hobbies like just not a like during school time we're playing like that. No, I don't know any touch with that any games like that actually. But if you tell something game, they're related going to ask the further question. For example, one of my friend had told that is hockey actually. Then they ask about the game where like many questions they ask me related to whether he is saying true or false. Actually, they want to check him actually.
Right.
In that case, if you don't have anything like that, how to tell these things exactly?
Correct. See, lot of answers are there in your question. First of all, don't tell lies.
Yes, sir.
Reason why people ask what are your hobbies is usually it's an icebreaker. They want to make you feel comfortable. Usually when you start the interview, you do not ask, a tough questions upfront. They'll start, how are you? Where are you from? Are you staying in the hostel? What are your hobbies? These kind of things they'll start. But if you get caught saying, something which you're not, that's a bad thing. It is okay to say, I do not have hobbies. I just focus on my education. If you consider, reading my textbooks as hobby, then yes, it is my hobby. Or, see, there will be something. You might go for a walk, right? Or you might read a newspaper. Tell them, see, I do not have very specific hobby, but whatever you do, tell them, see, this is what I do. Not having hobby is no way, will carry a negative thing in your interview. It's not at all. It's just an icebreaker, but don't tell lies. That's more important.
Okay, sir. Sir, I have one question. Tell about yourself means exactly like what are things that we have to tell, sir? Tell about yourself, that question.
See, any opportunity is that secondary, is the display, is you presenting yourself. Talk about your strengths. What you about your, where are you from and what college you went and all should not take more than 15 to 20 seconds. Finish with it. Prepare a story. Tell them, I am so and so, but I'm interested in this. Suppose I'll just take a computer science example because that is where I am comfortable with. See, I was always interested in the computer science. That is why I joined. And before that, I was doing this, I did that. Keep talking about the stuff which is important in the interview is what work have you done or what can you do. If you're not done that, then pick the subject you are comfortable with. But tell, and also it's a time where you can set the things. I'm a very responsible person. I have done this. If you have achieved anything, Say, suppose, in 10th standard, you went to national level chess competition and you won. Mention that. These things, help.
So, and if they ask you like personal interest means if that time if I say entrepreneur, for example, because I read more about entrepreneur like magazines that what are the articles will come related to this. I take more courses on this. Coursera also I taken some course related to these things.
Right.
If I do anything related to this entrepreneurship skills, example, you told you have to mention more related to things which you are learning things. You're
Right.
more leaning towards passion towards it. If
Right.
I tell these things, example, I don't have any other thing, I only having this kind of thing which I mentioned there,
Mhm.
will like personally if they take this or maybe because they think that this is going to do they will because I'm going to go in other direction, they may reject or they can act like what they can do.
Yes, it's a good question. And nobody will reject a candidate just because of that. Okay. And what they might ask you is, why do you, reading these things? You are a fresher, you do not have experience. And that is when you will twist it in a way where it will become advantageous to you. Then what you will say is, see, doesn't matter whether I'm working in a company or working for myself. A work requires a certain kind of responsibility. Even if I'm sweeping, I think I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the owner of that sweeping job. That is why I learn all these things, because I want to take responsibility for my job and to do the best. The only way I think I can do is to make sure I know fully about it. That is why I read all these things. You are already selected. Okay, there are two questions here. What are your views on cryptocurrency, and will it have considerable impact on developers in coming years? See, again, cryptocurrency is just one of the technologies. Of course, it will, the more and more things get online. See, online is internet, learning, artificial intelligence. For that matter, anything software, digital is a one-way street. There is no going back. So all these things will be important. How can we know the interview is not interested in us? After the interview, they will say they'll come back to you. We might think that we have done good, but they will never show up. Don't worry so much about it. If you are selected, they will definitely come back. If you're not, some people have courtesy to call you and inform you. Some don't. But there are a lot of things happens in a company. Even I did not know all these things before I got to the other side. It's not that whether you're not selected, but once they go back, they, let's say they have given offer to 50 students or 50 people, and suddenly one of their project might uh, get shelved, or their client has gone out, or whatever. There can be multiple reasons why they will not say no, because they don't want to say no. They want to get you, but they're in a situation where they, you know they cannot commit to you. That's a problem. So even there'll be uncertainty on their part. So don't worry about it. If they answer, but you keep trying. Don't wait for just one thing and get disappointed later. If they come back, well and good. Otherwise, keep trying.
Okay, let's take the last question for the session as we have crossed our time limit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
If they ask where I can see you after 5 years, again, if tell them the truth. There is no right or wrong answer for it. It is usually after, just to gauge how do you think. But some of the general answers can be, I spent all these years learning, theoretically. I want to make sure next 5 years I apply to it. I get really good in my work. That's one of the answers you can give. Or I want to make sure I contribute to the company and by 5 years, I want to be in a place where whichever place that I'm working feels that I'm really important for this company. So these are some of the answers. There is no right or wrong answer for it.
Okay. So all the students can approach Mr. Anand sir. I'm mentioning his LinkedIn profile link in the chat box. You can always reach out to him. So yes, I guess we have reached to the end of the session, sir. That is a very interactive and information session. So I'm certain that students must have gotten valuable insights on how to widen their scope of being employed and all other questions they have in their mind. Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time and giving our students this amazing session.
Thank you very much. But I should thank you all the people who participated. I wish you all the very best. If I have not answered any question, like she has already shared the LinkedIn profile, connect to me. I would definitely answer if you have any more questions. I wish you all the very best, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to meet you virtually.
And to all the attendees, after the session ends, you will be redirected to a page where you can give us feedback and any suggestions you have to improve ourselves, and also suggest any topics you want to listen from us in the future. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. I was also listening. I was working on something else, but I was also listening to your entire session. It's really helpful. You get real practical feedback to students that they have to actually show something. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Paresh. Thank you very much. I'll see you all. All the very best. Bye.